Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Walillahi alhamd. Alhamdulillah, fada khayruh, wa amma fadluh, wa ala amruh, wa jalla jalaluh, wa istaqarra sultanuh. نحمده حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه لا ينتهي مدا ونشكره على نعمه لا ينقضي عدا. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله، الله أكبر، الله أكبر. ولله الحمد. الحمد لله الذي جعل أمة الإسلام خير الأمم وأفاض عليها ما لا يحصى من ألوان النعم والكرم، وجعل منها أئمة وعلماء بهم يقتدى ويهتدى إلى صراط الحميد والدين القويم. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله، الله أكبر، الله أكبر. ولله الحمد. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله المبعوث رحمة للعالمين بشيرا ونذيرا إلى الناس أجمعين. اللهم اجزه خير ما جازيت نبيا عن أمته ورسولا عن دعوته ورسالته. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد. Dear respected brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created mankind as diverse as you see in this room. He never created one race and one ethnicity. He never created one language or one color. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in the Quran, in Surah Al-Hujurat, when He stated, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. So when we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all human beings appear the same. When we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all the socio-economic and political strata that we have, whoever is king or president or prime minister, whoever is rich or poor, they do not exist in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why the Hajj teaches us that when we go back to Allah, we go back to Him the same. As the Hujjaj departed Arafah and Muzdalifah, and now they're back in Mina. My dear respected brothers and sisters, they have tasted what it's like to be part of the human family. There are no people above others in front of Allah. Even in Hajj, a king or president must come dressed the same as a pauper. The reason why is because there are no kings in front of Allah. That is why we recite every morning, every salah, by saying, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ. Allah is the king of all mankind. So when we stand in front of Him, there are no kings. We are all children of Allah. So when we stand in front of Him, there is no race or tribe or ethnicity that is better than the other. Now how can mankind appreciate diversity? We will not be able to do so, no matter how many philosophical articles that are written. The only way to appreciate diversity is to have the belief that Allah is the creator of diversity. Until mankind can embrace what Allah has created, the world will continue to be in the current racial diversity turmoil that we see. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assembled mankind to show them the blessings that come from Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses those who stood in Arafah as an example to Malaika to tell them that human beings can do good. Human beings can be obedient. Human beings can strive and suffer and still maintain their iman upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, you and I are amongst the chosen few inshallah, that will enter Jannah, and we ask Allah to make that so. Allahumma ameen. Out of billions of human beings, not everyone believes in Allah. Out of billions of human beings, not everyone responds to Allah. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, on this day of Eid, you and I must reflect upon that blessing of belief. If Allah chose, all of us would be doing something and believing something. If Allah chose, we would all have our own idols at home to worship. But Allah chose us and placed us on the straight path. Allah guides every human being, but He chose us to listen to this guidance. إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. Allah said, I guide everyone. Whether they actually are grateful or not, everyone receives hidayah. But when Allah wants you to be guided, فَمَنْ يُرِدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. Allah makes you taste sweetness in Islam. Even if you're in a prison, you will love your Islam. Even if you're incarcerated somewhere, you're in an internment camp, you will love your Islam. وَمَنْ يُرِدْ أَنْ يُضِلَّهُ يَجْعَلْ صَدْرَهُ ضَيِّقًا حَرَجًا كَأَنَّمَا يَصَّعَّدُ فِي السَّمَاءِ. If Allah doesn't want you in His guidance, your chest becomes constricted as if you are ascending the skies. That's the metaphor for how you go blind, how you go deaf to guidance. When you show that person the truth, they say that does not look like truth. When you make them hear the truth, they say that is not truth to me. So I'm saying to you that we are blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us to hear the khair and we accept it. So on this day of Eid, reflect upon the fact that we are one family. We are the children of Adam. And the beauty of Islam is that from the right to the left of this room, every ethnic group is represented here. Walillahi alhamd. But we come together because of faith, not because of any worldly benefit or any political banner. We are here because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we reflect upon the khair of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us. And I would like to tell you what Allah does. From all the ones that are guided, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will select those that He will give a mission and an assignment. Allah tells this to us in the Quran, Surah Al-Fatir. He said, ثُمَّ أَوْرَثْنَا الْكِتَابَ الَّذِي نَصْطَفَيْنَا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا فَمِنْهُمْ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمِنْهُمْ مُقْتَصِدٌ وَمِنْهُمْ سَابِقٌ بِالْخَيْرَاتِ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَضْلُ الْكَبِيرُ. Allah says, from amongst us the guided, some of us wrong ourselves. And we see that every day. And it is very disheartening that Muslims wrong each other every day. Look at the conflict in the lands of the Muslims. Look at how the leaders of the Muslims treat their own subjects. وَمِنْهُمْ مُقْتَصِدٌ. Some people are in the middle. They are moderate. But others, وَمِنْهُمْ سَابِقٌ بِالْخَيْرَاتِ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. There are those that go above and beyond the call of duty. My dear respected brothers and sisters, it is my strong belief that many of you in this room are amongst those that go beyond the call of duty. Before I tell you what that means, listen to how Allah describes going beyond the call of duty. Allah tells us in Surah Al-Baqarah about one human being that went above and beyond the call of duty, above all the children of Adam, that one person was the one given an assignment that no other can be given. He states, Azza wa Jal, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ. When Ibrahim was given tests by his Lord, he did not complete the test. He said, Allah says, فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ. And itmam means to go beyond the expectation. When you complete something, Allah, like He says, الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ. When it comes to the deen, Allah said it's completed. All the sharia that we need is already completed, nothing. But when He talked about the ni'mah, He says, وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي. Ni'mah is infinite. So Allah says, وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ. So Ibrahim going beyond the test. What are these tests? You and I need to reflect upon it for you to know why you could be chosen to do something, not for yourself, to do something, not for your children. I want everybody to know that you need to do something for the United States of America. I want you to know that there's a new level of patriotism that this nation does not know. And that is something that you, inshallah, will know, what it truly means to be patriotic. Ibrahim, young man, when he was tested with standing up for Tawheed, he stood firm. They decided to burn him in fire. Young man, he could have just quit. He went all the way. He was resilient and rigid. They tied his hands. They took off his clothes. They said, "Harriquhu wansuru alihatakum." They tossed him in a huge fire. When he was falling in, Jibreel alayhi salam, the angel, came and said, "Ask anything and I can help you." Ibrahim said, "Allah is sufficient for me. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil." The ropes burned, but his body did not, because Allah said, "Ya naru kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim." A young man, they called him Fatah. After that test, the test of his faith, he also faced another test, to be driven out of the land where he lived. And when nobody could listen to his call to Islam, he prayed to Allah, "Rabbi habli min as-salihin." Give me a child that I will pass on this deen as posterity. Then Allah says, فَبَشَّرْنَاهُ بِغُلَامٍ حَلِيمٍ. Then Allah gave him a son. After that son was born, sometime thereafter, Allah gave him another test. Brothers and sisters, you don't know what it's like to not have a child. Ibrahim was even old when he had his first child. So when you receive that child, it becomes so beloved to you. You don't even want to stay away from that child. Then Allah gave him another test. Take your child and your wife and leave them somewhere. It is so painful to take your wife and your child, leave them where no human being exists. No tree was growing. رَبِّ إِنِّي أَسْكَنْتُ مِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي بِوَادٍ غَيْرِ ذَا زَرْعٍ عِنْدَ بَيْتِكَ الْمُحَرَّمِ. There's no vegetation there. Just to obey the command of Allah. His wife asked him, "Why are you doing this?" He kept on going. She asked him again, "Why are you doing this?" He kept on going. Then she changed the question. "Did Allah command you to do it?" He said, "Yes." Then she said, "Allah will not leave us here to perish." His wife passed the test of sabr, of compliance, of support. Today, it is hard to find a spouse that will support you in the cause of Allah. You're all blessed that all of us are here with our spouses for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The test was not over. Leave them there. The wife could have said, "Since Allah will not leave us to perish, I will sit in this spot until everything happens." But she ran between As-Safa and Al-Marwa until she could find water for a crying child in distress. Jibreel alayhi salam already dug the well of Zamzam. That's not enough. When the child was old enough to walk around, Allah gave Ibrahim another test. And he told his child, "Inni ara fil manami anni adbahuk fanzur mada tara." He said to his son, "I saw myself sacrificing you in a dream. What do you think?" Every parent here with a small child, a young boy, I can see all of you now. Will you sacrifice your child? If you saw that in a dream, the answer is no. You won't even utter a word of it. But Ibrahim told his son and said, "What do you think?" Allahu Akbar. This is Ghulamun Halim. The son said, "Father, do as you have been commanded." Unless that son was a prophet himself, he would not have that type of mentality. And that would have been enough. Ibrahim did not stop there. He took the son, he laid him down, and he put the knife on his neck. That's when Allah said, "Ya Ibrahim, qad saddaqta ru'ya." Allah watched Ibrahim go all the way before Allah called upon him, just to see where he will go. And after his entire family, not him only, his wife, his son have passed the tests, that's when Allah commissioned him to build the first masjid on earth. That's why Allah commissioned Ibrahim. Because he's the only one man that is willing to go alone, even if the world is not with him. He's the only one man with the patience, the fortitude, with the persistence to know that you can never waver if you want to be in the path of Allah. And Allah made him an ummah, and every Nabi after him was a descendant of him. That is how Allah blesses you when you rise to the occasion. We are all being tested, dear respected brothers and sisters. Allah is showing us opportunities for us to serve Him. And I believe that this group here, inshallah, will be the exemplary community that will rise to the occasion of a new patriotism. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. Dear respected brothers and sisters, today in the political landscape, what it means to be patriotic has now become cruelty to women, children, the aged, the migrant. To be patriotic, it means to be demagogic. To be patriotic is to hate others in the name of Americanism. To be patriotic is to revile others and to say that they are not supposed to be here. That isn't patriotism. That is divisive sickness that has corrupted the heart of this nation. That's not patriotism. But my dear respected brothers and sisters, let me tell you a new type of patriotism. In the end of the day, when there is no earth, in the end of the day, when we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will your patriotism show when your concern was for whether your fellow citizens will go to Jannah or Jahannam? No patriot in America thinks this way. Many of the patriots want to only hug the flag and say, I'm an American, red, white, and blue. Which one of us care whether America succeeds in the way of Allah? If America becomes a better nation, it impacts positively other nations. You've already seen that. If America stands to be the beacon of light, there is no beacon and there is no light right now. Just darkness we're spreading in the world. We are involved in every conflict, in every corner of the world. We need a new patriotism. And that is the America where we care for everyone. We accept the diversity of this nation. No one has any right to be here more than another. The only people who have a right to be here are the Native Americans. We are all visitors who came and we overstayed. We need to change the nation. We need to heal the nation. But to do that, we have to have a new level of patriotism that is based on our Iman. The Prophet ﷺ had many opportunities to raise his hands to Allah and damn the nation that he was part of. But he did not. Even when Jibril ﷺ gave him the opportunity, when he was stoned in Ta'if, ask Allah and I will crush Ta'if between these two mountains. He said, no. Perhaps one day their children will be believers. Imagine that. This is what we have to learn from the Prophet ﷺ. That his concern was the mission he was giving. The mission was to deliver the message of Allah, the true message of Allah, not only to the Arabs, but to everyone else. You must let the message reach people. That is why I believe our mission, we've had this vision for a while. Now we are presented with a mission to establish a place here in Leesburg where we can invite all our non-Muslim friends and neighbors to come and listen to the clear words of Islam. And I believe strongly, if you give every human being a clear message of Islam, many will freely choose it because it is a solution to life and living. My dear respected brothers and sisters, to do that, together we must come together. We showed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Ramadan such great sincerity in how we supported our fundraising event. Allah is challenging us now to do even more because Allah has seen how you and I can respond. That is why Allah upped the game with Ibrahim every time he was tested. Before it was a personal test in his own faith. Then the other test was a test of being distant from his family, then the third one is, would you even sacrifice your entire family in the first place? So I'm asking all of you to get ready to work together, not only you, but to invite all your relatives, all the Muslims you know, to come together for us to acquire a piece of land in Leesburg. And we have found such piece of land, and there are many others, but we found one that is ideal for us. It's about 12 acres of land. Flat land where we can have masjid, school, clinic, you name it. Allah has given it to us. Now we see that there is a mission to our vision, and we need everybody's help, inshallah, to make that a reality. Dear respected brothers and sisters, Ibrahim had nothing when Allah commissioned him to build Masjid al-Haram. He did not put tiles, he did not put marble. He just built it with the resources available. Further generations came and made it the way it is. We need to acquire the piece of land and do our best to put even a small structure. Others will come and raise it even higher. And every reward, 10,000 years from now, will go to your scales, inshallah. So we are now being given a mission, a new patriotism in America, and a new effort to bring people together through Islam. And I believe, dear respected brothers and sisters, when the American people will actually have Islam penetrate their hearts, they will continue to be the best people, inshallah, as we've seen in other ways of life. Imagine if the leader of this nation was a moral person. Imagine if the leader of this nation was a compassionate person. So rather than demonize others, he embraces others. Imagine if the leader of the nation, when there's a massacre, he not only cries, but he makes laws that will reduce it the next time. Imagine this nation, rather than call other countries S-holes, but rather send aid to them so they become better. America still has the opportunity to be a beacon of light because it was a nation formed by a group of others, not a homogeneous population. And I believe that only through Islam and Muslims will we see that change. Remember, as I conclude, because you're Muslim, your first test is the test of faith. People will attack you. Some people will gun us down because you're Muslim. Ibrahim was not afraid of the fire. You have to get ready to face the fire to pass the test. You have to get ready to be separated from your families if incarcerated. You have to get ready to sacrifice all your wealth for the sake of Allah and watch Allah elevate you. Yusuf alayhi salam saved Egypt right from prison as soon as he got out. He suffered all his life. Another young boy suffered all his life, but because he passed the test, he was ready to save an entire nation. Many of our children are called Yusuf in this room. I hope they will live up to these great ideals. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت وسلمت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وانصر الإسلام والمسلمين واغفر لجميع موتى المسلمين يا عزيز يا كريم اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين فضلا منك ورحمة يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وادخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وجزاكم الله خيرا بارك الله فيكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته عيد مبارك وكل عام وأنتم بخير تقبل الله منا منكم صالح الأعمال. Please stay put and we have our special guest the mayor of Leesburg, that will help us one day make this a reality. Miss Kelly is here. We ask her to just stand up and say a few words. We welcome her with a round of applause, please.
Thank you. Well, thank you. We are a diverse country, and that's important to us. That's very important. The diversity is what makes us strong, not weak. It's what makes us a better place, not a worse place.